Hey guys, Akio Murasaki here. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Highguard. It's an update video, but I'm going to be most importantly answering some very burning questions like, can a Highguard into space? Can it recover? Or is it going to be dead and buried forever? Let's have a look first where we are with the Highguard journey here on Steam. The reviews are currently sitting at a mixed. It's no longer overwhelmingly negative, no longer 33 positive reviews. Right now it's 42% positive reviews. Now why this is happening, if you look at the number, you'll notice that there's 24,625. There's been a handful of reviews that came in, and apparently these were positive reviews, which now puts the game at mixed instead of overwhelmingly negative. Now, unfortunately, I have to say that the quality of these reviews is not exactly great. Very often, these are reviews that basically try to say, no, don't listen to the haters, the game is actually amazing. So they're doing this reverse review bombing, so to speak, not really talking about the actual quality of the game so often, just regurgitating some points used by game journalists since the game release. So not really saying anything like, yeah, the game isn't great, but I mean, that sometimes happens, but not very often. But mostly you're going to see tons of negative reviews still. Let's have a look at some of the statistics maybe. Yeah, let's have a look at some of the statistics where we are with the numbers. Yeah, we are at 10k to 15k players daily, 15k player peak. Tracking quite nicely actually, doesn't look terrible. You have Jeff Keighley to thank for the initial 97,000, of which 87,000 remained. Yeah, I guess it's a fair number. 10k is not a bad number for a online game. If it's 5v5, well, maybe it's a little problematic. It's a little, it's a little tight, but it's not terrible. I've seen worse. Well, actually, I'm going to give you some examples here. I've seen Strinova that I talked about in one of my previous videos. It opened up with 38k. Now, that's kind of low. Why only 38k? Because the majority of people were frankly not interested. I've seen the reviews, I've seen the initial receptions of Strinova, and people were like, do we really need another hero shooter? And the only difference is that this one's anime, which is one of the reasons why I played it for so long. But yeah, it's sitting at 3,000 players. Considering it, this one is also, I think, 5v5. Yeah, not very good. And then also, I've been mostly playing casual because I cannot imagine there being any ranked or any reasonable ranked with 3k players. It's simply not happening. That's peanuts. And then we have this disaster story that is the first Descendant that opened up with, oh my gosh, these are AAA numbers. We have 264,000, 265,000 even, ridiculously high. And then this dropped off within the first couple of months, been cruising, there's been a bit of a, a couple of like minor bumps here and there. But now it's sitting at 5k players, which I'm sorry to say is not looking very good for the first Descendant. And I can sort of understand. I played the game quite a bit for a good solid couple of hours, and sadly it just gets boring very quickly. Like the exploration, if you don't have people around you just soloing all of the exploration, eventually just gets very boring. And with the content, there is new content, but unfortunately that new content does not seem to be saving the game. And speaking of saving, believe it or not, but the Highguard devs are actually listening. They started improving their early access, but not really early access, fully released game, and they're adding things. Yes, we have this post here. You asked, we listened. Well, we didn't really ask. We told you your game is trash. In multiple words, and obviously people complain about the performance, among other things, the game disconnecting and stuff. But yeah, they're working on it. We have a comment here from Legacy Killa, who's a very good game reviewer, I have to say. And as he says, yeah, it's night and day difference in gameplay. Very nice. Clap, clap, clap. Amazing job, devs. And then there's this article from Eurogamer. Highguard update reduces crashes by 90%. Wow, must have been really frequent, huh? Adds crouch toggle options. We have crouch toggle, 90% reduction of crashes, and also 5v5. Now, if only they did something with the character models a little bit and maybe some of the graphical stuff or in general the performance, people could be playing, you know, an amazing, my god, am I actually saying this? A decent game. The gameplay loop has a lot of problems. But funny enough, because I've seen a lot of gameplay videos, funny enough, a lot of these problems are actually minor and could be improved. 5v5 is already a massive improvement. Working through either the gear system, how it works, because the loot boxes are really boring. I'm sorry, this is just a rehash of other hero shooters that we've seen already several times. So that's not exactly winning anyone's favors. But for instance, removing the QT, the QuickTime event on mining crystals, that could be removed. Reducing, you know, the initial gathering phase, like tweaking some of the gameplay elements with the shield breaker and stuff. Yeah, I can see the game actually having potential. That is shocking, right? It can actually, I think, into space. But since the game is still sitting in mixed reviews, and this is not mixed reviews in the sense of like it's a mediocre game but no one wants to play it, it's a mixed reviews because of glazing and the game not meeting the quality that it was glazed to. We're gonna talk a little bit about Jeff Keighley, and he actually reached out to the game devs to give them the slot, believe it or not, in last year's Game Award show. That should not be happening. As in, okay, maybe differently. We're going to go for some of the reviews, and I'm going to highlight what I mean specifically with the trend. If you are a game journalist, if you are a host of a game show, if you are involved with presenting games but are not a part of, like, direct part of the industry, if you're not a game developer, you have no place using your private like of a game to glaze it. This is absolutely a no-go. Like here, for instance, we have Austin Manchester, who's a top glazer of basically every single game that failed, I think. I think it's either Austin or the next guy from this Polygon review. Oh, sorry, not from the Polygon review, what am I saying? But basically, we have this article here from Austin from Polygon where he's glazing Veilguard really hard after playing it only a handful of hours. And then we have an article also from PC Gamer from Morgan Park, which is Highguard is fine when you don't have an internet in your ear. And then another one, basically, I just want to point out, basically, there's been several articles from PC Gamer about Highguard, talking about how amazing the game is and you absolutely need to give it a second chance. Guys, what are you doing? You are reviewing a product. In every single other industry, if you are reviewing a product, you have no place of glazing it. You can, if you know, Rory, if you want to use your private social time on social media, you can please go on your private account and go on glazing the game as much as you like. You want to write some Steam reviews? Go and write a Steam review. You have absolute the freedom to do so. But if you are representing a game magazine, representing a reviewer outlet, you are absolutely out of freaking line. This is not a blogging site like PC Gamer and other magazine and Polygon and Eurogamer. I'm sorry, but this looks terrible for all of three of these if they're glazing instead of, and also glazing. Are they actually reviewing the game, or are they running some kind of, psyop strategy to prop up the game? Because you should be reviewing the game. You shouldn't be talking about how people don't like the game, why it's trash. You should be reviewing, should be go in there, spend whatever 10 hours into the game, review the freaking game, not the atmosphere or the vibes or whatever around. That's kind of disgusting, to be honest. And interestingly, the mood has been changing a little bit. And this is another thing I want to point out. It has been changing, but what, why, how? So we have, for instance, this one from Polygon. Highguard is a tale of two games, and the result isn't pretty. It's talking about how the game literally mixed things together and didn't really do his job. And again, but this is a later article here, for instance. And then we have this absolute gem here from Kotaku, yeah. Kotaku is not glazing? What the hell is happening here? Who did they hire? Zach? Are you sure about this? You think this is okay? Like, can you be honest? Can you give an honest opinion in Kotaku? Really? That's impressive. But anyway, boring visuals and too many ideas make it hard to enjoy this free-to-play shooters. Okay, I take it back. Excellent combat. Yeah, so excellent. Such recoil, amazing accuracy. Ooh, really now. What are we doing here? Should be my question every single time I read a game review. Yeah, this is no-go, okay? Industry-wide, things like this should not be happening. Let the game be a game. Let the game speak for itself. Do an expert review of the game. Don't freaking glaze it. No good. No fun. That's not what you should be doing as a game reviewer. Let's see where this story gets us, right? Let's see where we get from here with Highguard. Maybe it's actually going to pick up a little more steam even. And maybe, just maybe, guys, I don't know, maybe it's going to end up with slightly positive English reviews? Could that be? Well, let's see. Time will tell. I'm probably not going to be observing this too closely because, I mean, InVN, it is a bit of an industry success story because InVN, after so many bumps, so many things that went wrong, that shouldn't have gone wrong, they've course corrected and they're trying to fix the game. That's very impressive and commendable. So I give them that. That's their win, absolutely. And with this somewhat weirdly positive note, I want to leave you guys and I see you guys in the next one. Mata ne!